I couldn't change fast enough, but I have it right here.
Very nice.
Amy, did Andy get the link?
Did Andy get the link? I think she's on.
Oh, Andrea's phone. Andrea's.
Yeah.
That's her name, Mandy. Mandy, that's her name.
Thank
Yeah,
you, Gail.
Yeah, careful if you book her like a plane ticket. Ask her what her real name is.
Maybe you should ask Mandy what her real name is too.
No, Callie. No, Callie. Only you know that out of all these people, I think.
I can never email you, Mandy, because I always can't find you. I'm like, why can't I find her?
Right?
I got a secret name.
So Mandy, we've seen your Facebook post ask, and Angie, my mom there, is posted on Facebook, and Kendall put out some emails. So we see you guys, we see you on Facebook making your asks. We see you changing your Facebook profile to say that I support Snohomish County. And this is what we need to do. We need to be out asking. We need to be making the YMCA more visible to our friends and to our community and to our acquaintances. And I want to tell you guys, it's working, right? People are saying yes. People are more engaged at the Everett YMCA than ever. I think Katie could attest to that. There's more people coming in the door, more phone calls, what's going on. We want to swim. We want to play sports. We want to do some live classes. We want to do virtual classes upstairs. And it's so awesome. So I love it all, because that's the point of the annual campaign, is to get engaged, have more people come through our doors. And let's keep this going by raising some funds so we can keep doing the good work that the YMCA has set out to do. So Megan, can you give us an update, because you are the knowledge of all good things, and keep us running smoothly?
Yes, so right now we're sitting at about $95,000 raised on our goal of 170K all day. And that is like 53% of our goal, and we are in week 3 now, and so that's pretty amazing. This morning, bright and early, we reached 100% board giving, so every single member of our board of directors has contributed personally to the campaign. And yeah, it's just been amazing to see the gifts come in. Our membership desk has been so engaged. Today was Superhero Day, and so everyone working at the Y today was wearing capes, and it generated a ton of conversation with our members and a lot of attention. And just seeing the donations come in each day, and knowing that you guys, it might be quiet on the Facebook group, it might be quiet in some of our meetings, but you guys aren't being quiet out there, because the donations are coming in and people are telling us that you guys are the ones asking. And so it's been really amazing to see. So thank you guys all.
Perfect. Thanks, Megan. Are we going to segue into the...
Yeah, so I have a quick video that I'm going to share. And before I share this, one of the ideas that we've brainstormed in the past, and Amy and Bill were part of this group, and we met, and then really just fine tuning it with our staff team and some of our volunteers, is really trying to break down our case statement this year into kind of realistic, attainable, bite-sized pieces that people can relate to. And one of those is really our case is all about the youth this year, and how can we have people relate to that? Is it asking our swimmers to sponsor a youth for swim lessons? And if you sponsor at this level, it's this many kids and this many lessons, and really just having different levels of giving and making it relatable for people. And so we're going to push that out next week, and hopefully that will also help you guys in your asks. But last week there was a video released by our association office about YMCA sports, and so I'm going to share that really quick, and then we'll move into some conversation after. So hold on one sec.
Our world is obsessed with sports. It's everywhere you look. Athletes breaking records, teams achieving championships. But where did this obsession with sports begin? And why do we team? Sports, or games, have been around since, well, man could throw rocks at a tree. But some sports, some modern sports, have endured. If you didn't already know, you might find it curious to learn that the game of basketball was invented at the YMCA. It's true. In 1891, James Naismith invented the game of basketball at a YMCA in Springfield, Massachusetts. You see, what Naismith knew then and what we know now is that sports allows us to teach children about life. They learn developmental assets. They learn sportsmanship and how to have conflict with civility. But more than anything, youth sports at the Y teach children how to be kids, with kids, in a world that seems to ask them to grow up far too quickly. Often when we talk about sports, we focus on the child, but there is a magical ingredient required in order to create an impactful youth sports experience. It's not an object or a place, it's a person. The YMCA youth worker, a program director, an aquatics director, a child care director, a team director, a sports director. We simply could not do the work of the Y without this person's tireless passion for youth development. They recruit the coaches, train the staff, organize the leagues, and in doing so create experiences that allow every child to thrive. You see, when we're at our best, youth sports isn't merely recreational, it's transformational. With your support, your local YMCA will be able to place 12 new youth workers throughout Snohomish County, delivering on our commitment to serve youth in all corners of our community.
All right, so that's the video, and our association is going to be rolling out with a new one of those each week with different themes. So it's going to vary between aquatics and youth development programs and Big Brothers Big Sisters. So really the hope is that these will enable you guys to tell the story even better, and you can share them and use them. And yeah, we look forward to sharing more with you guys.
Thank you so much, Megan. Yes, those videos have been so helpful. I've rewatched the very first video that Peyton sent out over a dozen times, just re-listening to those words, and they just becoming more and more impactful. And I love this week talking about all of the programs and who's running them. And that's where we fall in, that we're talking about our programs and we're asking people to help us keep them going with their donations. So we have one of the biggest volunteers he has been giving his time every single week to us, who, is the author of Unscramble Your Life. So we have the privilege of listening to Nick give us some huge tips and tricks this week. So my friend Nick Salmon in his Superman costume, welcome aboard. Thanks for being here yet again.
Thank you very much, Amy. Good evening, everybody. It's great to be back here for another campaign fundraiser meeting. Before we get going tonight, I want to do a quick recap of some of the items we talked about last time. So if you could all take yourself off mute, we're going to do a quick Q&A. Last time I asked you guys 3 specific why questions. The first why was, why are we here? Why are we here? What are the aims of the campaign? Who can tell me the financial aim of this year's campaign? What number are we shooting for?
176K all day.
Yay! Love it. Thank you very much, Angie. And for a bonus point, who can tell me where all that lovely money is going? Which element of society are we focusing on in this year's campaign?
To the youth.
The youth. Love it. Thank you very much. So that was the why. Why are we here? 176K for young people. The second why I talked about last time was, why are you here? Understanding your own particular motivation for joining this team and being part of it. And we did that exercise to just understand your own superpower, your own inner juice that gets you going and gets you excited and part of this campaign. The third why wasn't even a question. It was why we're going to be successful this year. And I talked about 3 things. First of all, we know our inner why. We know why we're here, why we're part of this campaign. And that force pushes us on when times get hard. Who can tell me the second area that is going to make us successful this year? What did we do with the 176K that was going to help us be successful? Just shout it out or look behind Amy. We made it visible, 176K all day. We wrote it down, we stuck it on the wall. By making it visible, that drives our focus, but also improves our accountability. We have to walk past that sign every day and a reminder that we're part of this campaign. Who can tell me the third reason why we're going to be successful in this year's campaign? We're going to take a massive goal and we're going to break it down into little tiny habits, chunks, bits, and we're going to do a little bit every single day and stack it on top of each other to get us to a compound effect, consistently doing something towards the campaign. Jim Rohn says, success is a natural consequence of consistency. If we can consistently do things, if we consistently ask, we will absolutely smash this goal. And that's the focus of tonight's meeting. We're going to talk about ask, how to ask consistently. And there's three other words, as you did so well with my whys last week, we're going to have three other words that I want you to take away from this week. It is who, how, and what. We're going to talk the who, the how, and the what of asking consistently for donations. So let's talk who. Amy said consistently, it's all about asking. If we ask, we stand a much better chance of success than if we don't ask. But before we can ask, we need to identify who we're going to ask. And there's a really simple activity that you can do if you're struggling, again, to take this massive problem. I've got all these people to ask. How am I going to track them all? Let's break it down. And the way you can do that is look at your day or your week and look at all the people that you come into contact with. Now, at the risk of oversharing, I'm going to tell you about my day yesterday and identify all the different groups of people that I came into contact with that I should identify and I should make an effort to ask. Those of you who know me know I'm a massive fan of a morning routine and getting up early. So my day yesterday started at 4:45 with my morning routine, getting psyched up for the day, focusing on my goals and what I want to achieve. I then went and began to review a speech for a Toastmaster who's entering a contest. That was my first group of people, Toastmasters. So think of clubs and associations that you're members of and write them all down. Have you spoken to at least one or two people from each of those clubs? A couple of hours later, my children get up. I mean, I could ask them, but I know where their money's coming from. So instead, maybe think about your family and other members of your family that you haven't yet talked to about the campaign. Family is a great source of donations. And then my work day begins about 7 o'clock. Work people I interact with every single day on a working basis. But let me carve out some time to talk to them about the campaign. We spend so much of our time at work. Let's make sure that we're not walking past that great resource of people who we can ask for money. At lunchtime, I made a guest appearance at the YMCA. I know I haven't been there for a while. And had a workout. The YMCA, again, a really good resource for people. We assume that everybody who's a YMCA member knows about the campaign, but do they really? Have you touched base with other members who aren't part of the campaign team, who may not even know it's going on? So again, don't just make assumptions that the YMCA members are all covered. Think about those people you know who are members and don't forget to ask them. I drove home, parked in the driveway, and I look over the fence and there's my neighbor. We have a chat with my neighbor. So another group is our neighbors, the people around us all the time when we go out to check the mail or take the garbage out. Do they know about the campaign? Have we shared with them what we're doing and the importance of it? Finally, in the evening, I went out for drinks. I went on a date. And on my date, what do you think I did? I told them about the campaign. And guess what? I got her to donate some money. I am not a cheap date, but she donated some money to the campaign. You just have to ask people and they will give. So again, who are you socializing with? Who are you going for drinks with? Ask those people. They're a great opportunity, a great resource. And finally, before I got into bed, I thought I'd better check how many posts from Gail I've missed on Facebook today. And so Facebook is a fantastic resource for identifying those people who you may or may not have talked to. Now, there's about 7 or 8 groups there that I've identified, but let's zero in on the Facebook group, because I've done some snooping and I know a bit about this group. The average person in this group has around 300 to 400 Facebook contacts. Now, there's some at 700, there's some lunatic at 1,242, and I don't even think half of those are real people, Gail, but anyway, 400 people on Facebook. And because they're Facebook friends, we're going to divide that number in half because we don't want to talk to half of them. So that's 200 people. And let's assume those 200 people are in the same family. So we'll get it down to 100. So 100 worthwhile people out of our 400 Facebook contacts. If out of those 100 people, 50 of them give $25, that's $1,250 right there from your Facebook group. So have a look at your Facebook friends. Again, you don't have to reach out to 400 people a day. 1 or 2, build it slowly as a compound effect. Buddha says the jug fills drop by drop. We're not trying to pour gallons in. We're just trying to add those drops to the jug every single day. So do the exercise, look at your day, identify all the different groups of people you talk to, and then also take your Facebook list and go through and how many of those people have you reached out to and told about the campaign. Our second word tonight is how. So we've identified all the who, all the people we want to talk to. Now comes the really hard part. How do we ask people for money? And there's a great quote from Hasna Youssef, who's an Islamic scholar, and he says, never underestimate the power of words. Words drive our heart, and our heart drives our limbs. So the words are what we use to drive people into action. Therefore, it's really important that you focus on using the right words. And I've done a bit of research this week looking at research into donating. How do we convince people to donate to our cause or campaign? And there's a great simple tool I'm going to share with you to how to structure your ask. How do you structure asking people consistently? And there's 3 parts to it. I'm going to write them down. The first part is you. You. The next part is we will. We will. And the final part is so that. So that. That's the structure that we're going to use to ask people for a donation. Let's start at the top, the you piece. How many of you have been sitting in a meeting or half listening on a conference call, and all of a sudden someone says your name and you go, it triggers you. Suddenly you're back in the room. You've been daydreaming off here somewhere, but suddenly you snap back in the room as soon as you hear your name. Nick, I'm on. What is it? Where am I at? Well, there's scientific proof that says when we hear our own name, it triggers electromagnetic waves in our brain that causes us to engage. If we're trying to engage people and ask them for a donation, we need to target them specifically. Use their name. Use phrases like your donation, your gift, your contribution, to really zero in on the individual so they understand their engagement and their true power to change the lives of young people. So you, their name, focus on them when you open and ask for the donation. The second statement, we will, or the YMCA will. Now there's 3 things actually that's important in that statement. One is there's no if. It's very certain. We will. We are going to provide these youth development directors. We are going to provide sports training courses. We are going to provide life-saving swim skills. There's no debate. We will do it. You give us the money, we will do it. The second part of the why is it's not about hoping, about we will. It's not a hope. It's not a we hope you could do this. And the third part is it's a positive success statement. I know we see a lot when people are talking about donations, if you don't do this, all these animals will become extinct. But we need to push it in a positive way. We will bring Big Brothers and Big Sisters programs to more people in the Everett community. Focus on the positives that the program and their donation can deliver. The final part of the phrase, so that. And this is the bit I really enjoy. Back to our first meeting, it's all about why. This is the reason, this is the because, so that everyone in the Everett community, so that all the young people can have an opportunity to learn important life skills. There was some research done back in the 1970s where they lined some people up in front of a photocopier and asked participants to cut the line. Oh, I'm sorry, can I just photocopy my pieces before you? And we've all experienced this maybe at the grocery store or at the line at the airport for security, where people come and they want to cut in. What this research found was in 60% of cases, people were pretty easygoing and would let you cut the line. That number rocketed to 94% when people gave a reason why. So in your so that statement, give the reason why it's important they donate, why to do it now. Again, it's that power of why. You have your inner why, you have the program why, but why specifically should this person donate? Now, while this is a framework, again, personalize it to the people. You know those Facebook friends, I don't. Some people want a formal request, some people respond more informally. So tailor the structure, but make sure you focus on those three things. It's you, we will deliver these programs, there's no doubt. And so that, what's that why? Why should they do it? Kathy Calvin, who was head of the UN fund, said, it's not just about asking for a donation. It's about asking to make a difference. We are asking these people to make a difference in the lives of the young people of Everett. And make sure that comes out in the way that you ask for the donation. So we have our who. We now have a structure on how to ask people. And the final thing I want to talk about is what. What? What do we do with their response? What has been successful? What hasn't? Now, at this point, I'd like to open it up to everybody. If anybody feels that they've had a really successful time asking and wants to share some of their best practice ideas, like Gail mentioned in the Facebook post, please come on, share them now and spread them around the group. Otherwise, we can talk about maybe some typical responses that we could see and how to respond to those. Do I have any willing volunteers who are going to share some of their experiences when they have asked and what kind of response they've had?
In one of my asks, I was really planting the seed with some of my friends talking about the YMCA and what I've been doing in it and saying I'm volunteering my time. I'm co-chair this year. It's been really fun meeting new people and working with new people at the YMCA. And my husband was there and I felt like I had his support in that situation, and he just kept saying, oh yeah, the YMCA is so great, Amy's been working really hard at it, and he was like a great sidekick for me. So that was one of my and they said yes, and they said yes generously too, which was really cool. But I felt like it was we were all engaged in the conversation in that situation. So it really yeah, I think I kind of nailed the who, how, and then that's how I did it with my sidekick husband being by my side saying yeah, it's really cool.
Great, thank you, Amy. That's a great example too of some of us who have received these mugs. There's a flyer in there that talks about your sidekick. Again, this is a team effort, and therefore having a sidekick with you who can add that different dimension to the ask. So as Amy said, it's not just one person laser focused on the room, it's about the whole community and sharing the community benefit. Does anybody else have any experiences they want to share?
I've asked plenty, but I did, there's a member that is a huge fan of the rival college from mine. And so today I did my ask and I said, if you donate, and I don't care how much, I will wear a mask with his college on it and learn the fight song and sing it for him in public. So we'll see if it works, but he was pretty excited about it. And I don't know, I just felt a little creative on how to do more than just ask, hey, we want money.
That's so engaging. What a great way to engage and know a YMCA member, Kate. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really good. Again, back to, you know, there's a framework of how to ask, but personalize it, customize it. If you know that about a particular person, if they're particularly focused on the sports team, then yeah, Katie, that's a great way to engage them. Just out of interest, Megan, have they donated yet? Can we get a preview of the fight song, or is that going to take some practice, Katie?
They haven't donated yet, but
Okay.
I will alert you all when they do.
They have not, and it's going to be really hard to do. And it's hard.
Well, just
Hey,
focus on
Megan,
your
what
wife.
if I donate under that person's name just so we can hear Katie do the fight song?
That's
It's
very
online.
rude.
No one knows who's the check's from.
I'll
That's
go in
very
on that
rude.
with you, Kelly.
That's not very nice. You gotta understand, football in the South, guys, is really different. This is big. This is it's a big bet.
I'll donate big, Katie. The fight song.
That's exciting. Thank you, Katie, for sharing that. Again, another great idea to make the campaign accessible, but also to make it fun and engaging for other people. So thank you for sharing that. Has anybody had to deal with a rejection or somebody who said no? I think that one's really telling. And it comes back to what Amy opened with last time I was here, which is most people don't donate because they haven't been asked, not because they've been asked and they decide not to. So again, get out there, make the ask, and you're more than likely going to be successful. I think too that there are other areas where maybe people don't say a straight no to your face because it's very difficult, and being British, that's very rude. We would much rather slink off and go out the back door and hopefully never make eye contact for the next 6 weeks. So one of the things, again, back to the consistency, is make sure that those people you have asked, you follow up with. And again, it doesn't need to be aggressive or pushy. It can be, you know, did you get the link? Did the link work? Some people have been reporting issues. Make sure that you open the conversation with them again, just to check back in and make sure that the donation that they did talk about or that they did promise that they were going to do, that they're actually making. So again, follow up, be consistent, not just with the way you ask, but with the way you follow up. Okay. Well, there's 3 new words for you this week. We talked about the who, identifying who we're going to talk to. We talked about the how to structure the ask. And we finally talked about the what to do with those responses, what to do to interact with the person, to engage, what to do to tailor the ask to them. The final thing I want to close with is a really good quote. It's from Arthur Ashe, who was the first Black tennis player in the Davis Cup tennis team. And I think with a lot of this stuff, it's difficult to get going. It's difficult to have these conversations. But this quote really resonated with me this week. And it said, start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. That's all it is. Start where you are. If you haven't asked anybody up until this point, start now, start tomorrow. Start where you are. It doesn't matter, but start. The second thing is use what you have. Again, Katie's example is great. She has a relationship with that person, so she's going to use it. But use the skills that you have. Use the relationships that you already have to get going and asking. And finally, do what you can. If you can only find time to ask one person a day or 10 people a day, it doesn't matter, but do it. Do what you can. Thank you very much. I really look forward to hearing some more feedback on how well you guys are doing, and coming back to the meeting, I think in 2 weeks time for another update. But stick with it, guys. Really exciting momentum and progress, you know, well over the 53% mark, only 3 weeks in. Let's use these tools. Let's keep focusing on why, and let's focus on 176K all day. Thank you very much. Over to you, Amy.
You are so brilliant. You're excellent. Thank you. What amazing tools. Blah, blah, blah. You are just fabulous. Thank you so much. So keep asking. Why are we asking? We're asking because we want people to know about the YMCA. We want to share our story with them. We want to share our personal Y story because maybe they're going to resonate with that. And there's like a new conversation. There's an opportunity to keep talking about the YMCA, whether they say yes or no, okay, but we're going to engage our community. They're going to come in, they're going to ask some questions, and maybe next year they'll give, and that's going to be fine. Here we all are as adult learners, learning from Nick, learning from each other. And so the YMCA's annual campaign, we're successful, right? We're successful. I think Gail has a good follow-up also.
Yeah, and Megan, you want to pull up the slide? Just a great way to kind of close, just given everything that Nick has done, just a real reminder of why we're here. And I just want you to know, I've been involved in annual campaign for 20 years. And like most campaigners out there, I was a member of the YMCA. I was a person that someone like Gail literally roped me in to being part of the campaign, like in a class. And I see all of these class participants. Didn't even know what to do. And it confused me. Annual campaign confused me. And it's been very confusing and convoluted through the years. We know what the Y does, right? We know, or we continue to learn. But ultimately this year was the most exciting I've ever been because our case for support became clear. It's so clear, it's crystal clear. I've never been more empowered asking people to join us in the Y. Like even all of you campaigners, Amy, I didn't even care about asking you to join me because I knew that as soon as you saw what we were doing, you can't say no to this. This is a definite yes. This is what we are going to do. This will not go away. We will do this, and this is going to happen. And this is a lot of work, but each of those brochures that we have and the stuff that we have online showcases our focuses on here. I mean, hiring 12 staff to do those youth sports. Come on, like you could just say that and somebody be like, absolutely, I want to be part of that. That is so important. Equity for our youth and middle school, high school students. Imagine a $17 per year membership for a kid. And I'm telling you, when any of these kids walk in here for these memberships, they just say they're on a free or reduced lunch. We ask for no proof. There's no embarrassment. There's no shit. That is just, you got it, babe. Come on. Kelly Shepherd herself will hand out application forms all over Sequoia. Literally like dollars. The Y's got you, because we got them. We have the most youth that we're serving through that program in the entire association. I mean, I'm not meaning 20 more. I'm talking 200 more per branch. It's phenomenal. And then the Big Brothers, Big Sisters, we heard that last week. So I'm not even going to go into that. And youth sports year round. And then, I mean, life-saving skills for aquatics. I mean, how many of you learned to swim at the Y? How many of you played sports yourselves? The Everett Y has been around for 100 years. Someone that you know has learned to do something at the Y, right? So that we're just building those next generation of leaders that are like us. We are the adult leaders, right? We're inspiring our kids by even being involved in this campaign. Is that not correct? Like every day they're seeing us do something amazing. And we're teaching them the best skill ever, and they're growing up in the Y. So access for all. Next. All right, so this is just really great. And I think this really sums up what Nick was saying. Everything that Nick said is what is the annual campaign. It is relationship-based. It is volunteer-driven. None of you have been made to do this. None of you have been made to come here. I mean, I try to entice you, like saying you can pour yourself a glass of wine, babe, but come on. We're here. But look at that third case, that storytelling. All of you have a story. your friends, your groups, your neighbors, your friends, your family, your clubs that you're affiliated with will be involved because of your story. It's your storytelling that will open up their heart, and you can feed that to them. You know that they swim at the Y, you know that they play youth sports, or they know the Y and they know how much you love the Y, right? You advocate for the Y. And I really just think that by doing that, like what Amy says, the YMCA, and I hope you believe this, is the community center of Everett. The Everett YMCA is the community center of Everett. We have everything. We are without the YMCA, I just imagine it year after year, especially when the old Everett Y was getting all broken down. We're like, imagine the Everett without a Y. I mean, what would it look like? Where would our community go? Okay, we could probably have some kids in Boys and Girls Club, right? And then look at COVID, it shut down. Schools shut down. The Boys and Girls Club shut down. We gave youth sports. We opened our pools. We opened our childcare sites. We did emergency care. The YMCA stood up and took care, right? But what we're not is the other things that you see. And these things are successful. These things work. But what makes us different is the relationships and you. You are literally what it is. And the way that everybody becomes involved is there's no gift too small. You know, like it's a $20 gift. It could be a $20,000 gift. Woo, woo, that would be awesome. But it can be $20 and it's just as meaningful, right? So just wanted to kind of spice you up. And the best time to ask is immediately after this Zoom, because there's no time you'll be more excited than that moment. Okay? Does that make sense? Does that sound cool? So I challenge you, based on Nick, to think of the one person that you've not asked, or the one person that you've not followed up with, just one today after this call, and then touch base on Facebook and let us know how it went, even if it was a disaster, but just have the courage and empowerment to just go and do it. Just take some of these words that you heard and just freaking do it. Like, come on, get it done. See what happens, right? Just see what happens. Cool? Can we say yeah? Can we?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, AMZs.
Because you're going to end up having a good conversation, because you're going to end up teaching them about the YMCA, because they are probably going to say yes, because you're so energized with all of this and by all of each other. And this is so good.
So good. So good.
Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Mom. Love you, Mom. We have some stuff coming up. Gail, what is upcoming?
We decided, so Nick's going to come back in a couple of weeks, and so kind of the fill-in weeks, I kind of love the storytelling piece, and so next week Megan and I are inviting our everyday heroes to be part of your Zoom, so that we're going to invite our staff. We're going to invite a youth sports staff, a swim instructor, a child care worker, the virtual learning center team, and then also front desk. We really want you to hear, we've already heard from Big Brothers, Big Sisters, but just why are they an everyday hero? And when you hear a staff talk, I mean, you even hear me talk, it's like, I literally feel like I'm going to burst a blood vessel when I talk about the why, but our frontline staff feel worse than that because they're in these programs every single day. So they see the impact and the importance of where all our dollars are going. So next week, please tune in for that because it will really feel good and you might get a little bit more insight. And it's something maybe you didn't know before, even though you've got a little kind of outskirt idea of what it is. So tune in at 5 o'clock next week. That'd be great.
Sounds good, Gail. Thank you so much. Does anyone have any quick comments or insights that they want to share in the last couple minutes? We'll keep you here.
Proud of you, sis.
Thanks, Mom.
I've had 2 no's that were really yeses because I had 2 responses already that indicated one, they'd already donated, and the other is my friend Bob, who has donated forever, is now up at Skagit, so he's going his money there this year instead, but it's still going to the Y. So
Bob Maxwell?
no, but a yes. So
His came through, Kendall.
Well, he had from Maximum Bob. Okay, well, because he had one that was going here, but then going forward, he was going up to Skagit because that's where he and Roberta are participating now.
Nope, I was going to email you today. It came through, so that's a great one.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Fantastic job, everyone. Keep up the great work.
Great momentum. Thank you to everybody for all that you're doing. Nick, thank you.
176K every day.
Good. Well, we hope you all feel connected. We hope you all feel supported. Keep posting using the Facebook site as needed. We'll meet here again next week. Connect with your friends, connect with your strangers. Let's help take care of strangers' kids through the annual campaign. Thank you guys so much. Be well.
Cheers.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Thank you all for being here.
Good night.
Good night.